All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology about this Gemini full moon that we're having. This full moon's at 13 degrees of Gemini. Sun's at 13 degrees. Let me show you the chart here. Sun's at 13 degrees. Whoop, that's the button. Sun's at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. The moon's at 13 degrees of Gemini. This is going to happen about 6:15, so it's about an hour from right now when I'm making this video. So this will be up right in time for the full moon. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very mental full moon, okay? We're in the mutable signs of Sagittarius, Gemini, and we are square to the node, 13 degrees. 13 degrees, sun, moon, 13 degrees. South node in Virgo, and the north node, of course, in Pisces. There's not a bigger squaring of our minds than something like this. Because on one side, here's like emotionally what this is saying, our emotional moon, right? This is how we feel about things. And Gemini is about our thoughts, our personal individual thoughts. Me, myself, my possessions, my thoughts, my home, my personality, my career, how I give back, what are my acts of services to give back to other people? Okay. So this is about my personal thoughts, your personal emotions that are connected to your thoughts. Okay. And there's this saying, and I love it, and I've said it 1,000 times here on this channel, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. Okay. And across the way, the source of illumination in Sagittarius, this is about worldly views, collective data. Okay, we individually might feel this thing, but then when we look at the world at large, it's actually very different. My personal limited perception of this scenario and my feelings based around the scenario are very minuscule compared to the gigantic, enormous views of the world at large. Okay, here we're dealing with Mercury information. Over here we're dealing with Jupiter about expansion. And then what's Jupiter saying? Expansion of what? Emotions. Because it's in Cancer. All right, so there's like these additional emotions, but we have this little break free element of Uranus that's retrograded back into Taurus, making this little sextile line, okay? What this means is the information that we're going to be taking in when we are seeking out information. We're going to be seeking out worldly information that might be contradictory to our individual thoughts, views, opinions, and feelings. I'm going to try to say that again. We are currently in a place of seeking information, and seeking information that we love, want, and desire. All right, Mars and Venus are both here in Sagittarius with the sun. Venus is what you love, want, and desire. Mars is how you get what you love, want, and desire. And the sun is self. And what is self showing up to right now? It's this place of Sagittarius, which says, I'm willing to travel. I'm willing to venture outside of my comfort zone. I'm willing to venture outside of my norm. I'm willing to venture outside of the material I normally choose to read. It's just like if we live we view everything as brown in our world. If we look for things that are brown to confirm that the world is brown, if we look into a room and we don't see brown, we'll find beige or burgundy, and we'll convince ourselves that that is the brown that we're seeking to reconfirm the idea that there's brown in every room or brown everywhere we look. Does that make any sense? We, in our minds, we project into the outside world. Chippy wants to say hi, guys. He climbed up on my lap. This is my stray cat. He's born under my porch. Mini Maine Coon. He's born under the porch, and he comes and hangs out with me every day. And this little guy teaches me so much about relationships, and it's just about choosing. Anyway, so he wants to come say hi and be a part of this astrology report. So thanks, Chip. Some purrs for you. We confirm in our minds, it's just like if we think men are oppressing women or women are vice versa, whatever we want to think, right? There's all kinds of social war games that are happening. If we think that, we'll find it every single day. We'll go out of our way to confirm that, right? It's confirmation bias. We're going to confirm that this belief, and we're going to look for it. And we're going to make sure that we find it every day. And even if it's not quite there, we're going to push it over the line to make it part of it. Does that make sense? We have our brains wired into it, right? There's no universe without mind entering into it first. So therefore, we're constantly projecting our thoughts, feelings, and emotions to the outside world, and we're expecting the outside world to give us back those wants, feelings, desires, those ideas of what we think the world is. So if we think the world is sad and miserable, we will find things that will align with this concept of my personal perception of the world being sad and miserable. And because we're dealing with belief, it's not ultimate truth. You see, your belief is an ultimate truth. You can believe that the world is sad, miserable, lonely, falling apart, that we're doomed. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, but that's not factual. And you can say, well, Aaron, look at the data. It's just like, yeah, but that's still not factual compared to the big overall, right? There's so many people that are doing good things in the world. There's so many people that want to help animals. There's so many people that want to help other people. There's so many people that want to help the planet. There's so many people that are looking out for human beings. There's so many people that are trying to create something to make your life easier, to make your life better. So when we get caught up in these ideas and our emotions being correct, right? Let's come back here to the chart, and it's like this Virgo and South Node right now, again, square to this full moon. This couldn't be a more powerful thing of like, get out of your own head, get out of your own ideas that you think, every thought that you think is correct. It's just simply not. Every thought that you think in your head is not correct and accurate. Let it go. Let it go. And then over here, we say, well, my beliefs are accurate. My beliefs, and I'm solidifying my beliefs with Saturn here in this big Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's going to happen. But it's going to happen in Aries, we know. So belief, you can believe absolutely anything. But this is also about forgiveness. Compassion because we are a mirror, and we've done those same things to others that they have done to us. It's important for us to forgive. It's important for us to re-examine our beliefs. For example, let's look at the rapture that just happened, that didn't happen, right? Some pastor in South Africa, I do believe, made a claim that he had seen a vision that Jesus was coming back to life, and a rapture was happening, and I had met with a friend of mine, and he's telling me that he wants me to convert into Christianity, and I say I don't believe in Christianity. I believe Jesus is a allegory for the sun that lights the world, and Jesus was an allegory for the age of Pisces, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. And he's swearing to me his belief and his conviction is so thick and so solidified, Saturn and Pisces, so solidified of my beliefs that Jesus is going to come down from the sky, the heavens, and he's going to have a sword of light that's going to come out of his chest, and he's going to spin in a 360-degree, and then every one of the non-believers, the non-followers of Christian beliefs, and those who don't believe in Jesus are just going to be murdered and off the rest of the life, like dead. And that's it. That's the end of their story. And this individual believes this. And I'm not making fun, but what I'm saying is, like, that's a wild story. There's zero proof of this. There's zero, like, that's not written anywhere in time. Like, it's never like said, oh yeah, and he's gonna come down and a sword of light's gonna come out of his chest. It's like, come on, this is these beliefs. We run with this stuff. People gave away all their money. They got rid of their vehicles for a belief. It's like the old expressions, well, wish in one hand and crap in the other, and then which one's going to happen first, right? It's like our beliefs can get us through a hard time. Our beliefs can also they can make us sink instead of swim. Instead of rising, we can sink by our beliefs. Our beliefs can separate us from our brothers and sisters, because you believe this over there and I believe this over here, and I believe because you believe that and I believe this. I believe now that there's a gap between us, that we'll never be able to hold hands. I'll never be able to have an arm over your shoulder, or you have a hand on my back. We can't walk each other. We can't guide each other. We can't help each other because there's too much distance. And this is what I believe. So like all of these things are being put up into question right now. And it's just like, could we be wrong? Could I be wrong about my beliefs? Could I be wrong about my views? Could I be wrong about this thought? Could I be wrong about this idea? Could I be wrong about politics? Could I be wrong about, it's like, we don't control all of this stuff. We're not the one sustaining life. We're not the one that's spinning this earth and around the sun and all of these planets. We're just not it. There's a higher power than us that's putting all of this together. So we can let go of the thought. We can let go of the thinking that it's up to us to fix the world, this savior complex that a lot of people are having right now. For some reason, this is popping into my mind, and I'm just going to roll with it. It's like, it's not, we have Christmas coming up, and it's not Father's Day or Mother's Day, but this is like something that's randomly popping up, and I'll just run with it. When I see, because we're talking about information, communication, and knowledge, and what belongs to you, what's versus what's not. I don't even know why. I'm gonna share this. When I see people, for some strange reason, when I see people during Mother's Day and Father's Day talk about their mom and dad, it's usually, I would say 99.999% of the time, it's about them. Right? They say, oh, I love my mom or dad so much because what they did for me. So it's like emotionally, it brings it back to self, right? This is still emotions, moon here, third house, about self. This is self-centered self. They bring it back to self. The reason I love my mom and dad so much is because they did this thing for me. They do this thing for me. Instead of like acknowledging, oh, I love this aspect of my dad because he's a good man. I love that he's can create and build, and he's there for people, or that he's a good cop, or was a good cop, or that my mom did this, and these things, attributes of themselves. It's just like this interesting thing too. Like, we can be very selfish. So coming back to like this, it's not about Mother's Day or Father's Day, but where are we making things about ourselves that are really about the bigger picture? Are we making things about ourselves when we don't need to be? And can we examine that? Are we allowed to put the mirror up, or are we allowed to let the light hit us and say, okay, there's something going on here that I am constantly, it's always about me. And it's like the sun over there in Sagittarius, shining its light, illuminating about knowledge and wisdom and philosophies and higher education and all this stuff. It's like the sun doesn't shine for itself. The water doesn't drink itself. So there's an aspect of like of lack of selfishness. You see, this is like, well, what do you do? How do you give back? And when you're constantly putting it back on self, or constantly thinking about self or our own emotions, the sun's probably not thinking, does the sun have thoughts? It's like, oh God, it's so hot. If I hope they're appreciating how much heat I'm putting out for them, because it's just sweltering up here for me. It's like, that's ridiculous to think about, but it's a human thing. We think that way. We feel that way. And it's just like, oh, they better appreciate me, or I'm going to withdraw my acts of services. South Node in Virgo, be unconditional. North Node in Pisces, be unconditional. Don't withdraw your services from somebody because they don't, appreciate you to what you think they should appreciate you. Again, that's just your thoughts and your feelings. It's not necessarily their thoughts and your feelings. It's just like, it's us projecting. In order for this to be received, I need you to receive it this way. These are the emotions, the joy, the expression on your face that I need to see when you receive said thing. That way I will know that my acts of services that I'm providing you are being fulfilled and you are appreciative. It's just like, oh, I'm going to stop putting astrology videos out unless every single person that watches this likes and comments and tells me that I'm an awesome astrologer. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's like, I'm going to talk about astrology because I love astrology, and whoever wants to show up and hang out with me while I talk about astrology, this thing that I love, we share this in common, and the like attracts like, and right, we this is how we work, and that's okay. Where are we at here? We've got a grand kite happening. Mercury here is really helping this out. Mercury in Scorpio, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. This is helping us let go. These are elements of our mind, Mercury in our mind, and Lilith. And it's just like, where can we be our own tyrants? Where can we be a bully? Where can we be bratty if we don't get our own emotional way? You can see this little, anyway, where is our, we can let these things go easier during this moment, especially with Jupiter creating this beautiful water trine, right? Neptune, trine back down to here, and then we have the sextile over here to 1 degrees of Aquarius, Pluto. Transformation. All of this is doing what? All of this information, this is about a lot of emotions, all of this water stuff. We can change our emotions. We don't have to emotionally react the same way that we did. We're allowed to let things go. We're allowed to change our minds. We don't have to. We can choose what's going to bother us sometimes. And if we can help, lean into that. And if there's knowledge, it's like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Seek it out. Whatever you are struggling with, whatever you are thinking about, whatever you want to learn about right now, that's the other side of this. This is like an amazing time to learn, to grow, to connect, learn about what the thing that you want to do, and execute it. There's no better time than to just learn, absorb like a sponge, and then whatever you need to do, and just make it happen. On that note, if you're still following me, I worked and partnered with Awaken Magazine, and I had a little interview with them. I talked about astrology, astrotheology. Of course, I love talking about astrotheology. I created a new website called centerofspirituality.org. Center of Spirituality, it talks about the astrotheology on there. It's basically creating a home for the spiritual community is the goal. We're trying to create a home for the spiritual community. Just like Christians have a church, or, the synagogue or the mosque. We need something as well. People that are spiritual that don't necessarily believe in the dogma, but we need a home base, and I'm trying to help create that. So this is all hands on deck. This is definitely something, if you're part of that in any sort of a way, reach out, let's connect, let's figure out how to create this together. We have to figure out ways, this is information that it gets me excited that I want to share with other people. And personally, in this new age, this age of Aquarius, and spirituality being the title that we've given ourselves, we need to figure out new ways of doing things. Marrying people is a big thing that we have to figure out here. And it's no longer about, and Jesus this and Jesus that. It's like, I sometimes I get a little frustrated. I don't know about you. I get a little bit frustrated at times when I go to somebody's wedding, and it's like, these two people they found each other out of 8 billion people in the world, out of all the struggles, out of all the things that are happening in life. These people found each other, and they're wanting to commit to each other and do all this. And I got to hear this dude talk about Jesus for 30 minutes is like, has nothing to do with anything. That's my opinion. And then like burying people, like we're not going to have any room for the living if we keep burying our dead in these 6-foot graves, in these coffins, and trying to preserve the bodies. So these are things that I feel particularly passionate about, having life and death doulas. Doulas, I think, are extremely important to help our sisters, our wives, partners out during the. It takes a community to raise a child, and it's like we're so busy creating our individual lives. We're so busy that we don't have that. We need this community. There's a transformation in community. So I'm trying to help that out. So centerspirituality.org is starting, hopefully creating the momentum of pushing this snowball down the hill, and create an avalanche to where we're in a good avalanche, right? We need people to know about this knowledge. We need people to be aware that Jesus is a personified allegory of the sun, that it's not a real person that's coming back to save them. It's important information. So it's like we're important that we are sharing knowledge, sharing aspects of ourselves, sharing things that we love and find dearly to help our community grow, and things that are no longer serving our communities, such as this dogma, such as some of the religious dogma, to be able to share information about it that can help heal their minds, heal their hearts, and put them on a path, a good trajectory moving forward, so it doesn't feel like abandoned. I know a lot of people feel that way. So there's a lot going on here with this full moon, friends. Again, the crossroads, I'll come back to just let you look at the chart for a minute. These crossroads here is everything is about higher knowledge, more information. Seek outside of yourself, seek outside of your normal tools, your normal books, your normal websites. You know, it's like this is going to sound controversial, but I'm going to come back here. I'm going to say this. It's like if you're a Republican and all you watch is Republican news about Democrats are doing this and doing that and blah, 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 blah. You know, it is an echo chamber. You're only going to get that. And if you're a Democrat and you're doing the same thing and Republicans are this and they're terrible and blah, 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 blah. Switch it. And you're going to be like, what? No way. No way am I going to watch I'm serious. Like, if you, switch it. Watch the other party for a little while. Drink in some knowledge, drink in some information that's so the opposite of what you're doing or what you're used to reading or drinking in through the holes in your skull. You know, it's good. It's important to expand our minds and see what else is going out there. It's important to let go of certain thoughts, let go of certain feelings that we're holding on to. The South Node in Virgo is a big one. There's certain stuff that we're holding on to that's like, this is the way the world is. And we're creating this thick steak, and there's, you know, adding a little bit of salt and pepper on top of trying to change the steak into something else isn't going to quite work. So we have a lot of work to do to completely remove some concepts that we're holding on to. Free our minds. All right, friends, I think that is enough out of me for today. I love you. I wish you enough. We'll see you soon. Happy full mooning.